Hey, how's it going, guys? So I figured I want to make a video just to give my perspective as to why am I invested into Hyliion. What is the reason? Obviously, some of the reasons you guys already know, but before you make any investment, you really need to have almost a business plan or investment plan, and you want to stick to it, and you want to have a thesis, and you want to go by it, and not change your mindset just because there's a hot new flashy stock out there that everybody's talking about it. That's never gonna give you any success because you're chasing something that you have no understanding or fundamental aspect to it. So my understanding for Hyliion is, and mainly not just for Hyliion, but this what they're actually trying to do is the fact that my understanding and my confidence is that oil is going to go back over $200, inflation adjusted. Oil demand is not going to go anywhere. The politicians in the West, the idiots in Europe, and I am European, the idiots in Europe, they think they can phase out oil just easily and replace it with a new generational power, whether it be hydrogen and whatnot. They already canceled off nuclear, which is a idiotic move that Germany now is going to start facing poverty levels to the levels of 1930s if they don't make any sort of adjustments. Oil is going to go back over 200 within next 5 years, easily. The reason being, so if you look at some of the statistics, in US, each person consumes through their lifestyle, through purchases, through travel, about 20 barrels of oil a year. If you look at some of the countries like Africa, it's pretty much less than 1 barrel of oil per year, just due to their lifestyle and what they need to do. Some of the Asian countries, and these are countries like Malaysia, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, they have like 200-300 million people. They use about 1 to 2 barrels of oil per year. If US phases out the oil and Europeans phase out the oil, demand is not going to go down. Demand is going to go up because their countries like in Africa and Asia, they're going to gobble up oil. They're going to gobble up because why? Oil oil gives civilization. Oil gives prosperity. It gives you everything that you need to do. Yes, of course, there is a byproduct to it. However, all of those byproducts can be managed. You cannot have a perfectly dense energy source that's going to give you everything, whether it's transportation, whether it's a byproduct, that civilization is not going to utilize. All the civilizations that tapped into the oil resources, they've thrived. They've thrived to the point where they reached their peak, and now other countries, which are in Africa and Asia and South America, they're just at the start of their S-curve, and they will need energy source such as oil and uranium and nuclear power, which idiots in the US, in Europe, they're phasing it out, which is extremely disappointing. They think that energy sources like hydrogen and solar power and wind, they're going to be all new. They're going to give them all new aspects of the energy sources that is going to sustain it for next 20 to 50 years, possibly. But energy sources and energy shift takes decades. It does not take one election cycle. Just because some idiot running behind the desk thinks in his election cycle he can provide incentives and provide new taxes and whatnot to push a new energy source, it does not mean it's going to take effect, because you cannot shove 20 pounds in a 5-pound bag. It takes years and years. So my understanding is that oil, and confidence is that oil is going to go back over 200 because pretty much US is going to slowly phase out, slowly shift everything away from the oil. If you ask yourself, some of the Californians, do they enjoy living in California? Is it fun living there with the high tax state where you pay $5-6 a gallon? Why do you think companies are moving from California to Texas? I know people personally that move from California to Texas, to Nebraska, because a way of life is a lot cheaper because of the energy sources that are tied to it. But getting off the point is, oil is going to go back over 200. Everything is going to spike through the roof. The new energy sources are going to emerge, but it's going to take decades and decades for them to be absolutely feasible. In the meantime, solutions that provide resources such as natural gas, renewable natural gas with already established infrastructure is going to be a very critical element to the transportation sector. Not hydrogen, it's going to take 5-10 years. Not oil, because it's going to go back over 200. It's going to be RNG. So do whatever you want to wish to do, but monitor global oil supply, because as we shrink in Europe and US, other countries will gobble up the demand and will drive the prices much higher. Cheers.